We're now going to be, I believe, now we're going to be setting up for the Wilhelm Tell.
That's correct.
And while we begin doing that, I think Joe and so forth are already beginning to work on that. Just a few words. First on the Paganini. Paganini himself was a virtuoso violinist, the most well-known violinist of his day. He wrote these 24 caprices in the middle of his career. I would just note that others were intrigued by them, and among them Brahms and Schumann, who wrote studies on them, utilizing them as the material for their pieces. And so that's some of what comes down to us today through the work of Schumann and Brahms, among others. We're now going to be performing scenes from Wilhelm Tell. If you know the story, if you remember the story from your childhood of William Tell, the archer who shot the apple off the head of his child. You know this story because of this play by Friedrich Schiller. It's probably worth saying something about Schiller and just indicating a parallel or continuity between Schiller and Martin Luther King as well in this context. Not to stretch a point, but really to again underscore this red thread of great music, poetry, of thought, of freedom that runs through history. Friedrich Schiller himself was known as the poet of freedom. He lived at the time of the American Revolution and beyond, and he went on and he lived through the period in Germany of the French Revolution, which, to paraphrase him, he said that a great moment had found a little people. The guillotine, the tragedy of the French Revolution, after the great hope that had been had really unfurled across the Atlantic with the American Revolution. And Friedrich Schiller defined in a series of letters, the aesthetic letters, and in other writings, including drama, the stage as a moral institution, that it is through beauty that man can be lifted from that animal state that Martin Luther King's sermon was touching on so profoundly, to see his higher qualities in himself and in others, and to bring about a unity between his thoughts and his actions and his emotions and his reason. And so these plays by Friedrich Schiller were aimed at exactly that, the idea of theater as a moral institution. And the example of Wilhelm Tell comes down to us, as I said, today as a result. So we're going to be doing 3 scenes from Friedrich Schiller's Wilhelm Tell in English, and that'll be starting here in just a moment. The Schiller Institute, for those that aren't aware, the Schiller Institute was founded in 1984 by Helga Zepp-LaRouche. So you can figure out how many years we've been working since on both sides of the Atlantic, and now around the world. We're involved in policy, we're involved in promoting the social gospel, if you will, that King and others promoted. Amelia Boynton Robinson, who invited Martin Luther King and the SCLC into Selma, and her home was the headquarters and also the home for Martin during the Selma campaign. Amelia Boynton Robinson was for decades a board member of the Schiller Institute and a very active leader in the Schiller Institute's activities internationally. So that's a little bit of background, and you can find out more later on. Oh, okay. So let me introduce Dianne Bettag.
Yeah, this is sort of a condensed way to say what he just said.
Oh.
Because, as he said, in this theater as a moral institution, he describes how the reason for drama is to make the people better. And you should leave the theater a better person than when you walked in. And so this is a poem on William Tell, on that play, which Schiller also wrote. With, okay. Which is that one? Can people hear me in the back? No? Oh, I'm so sorry. It wasn't on. Hello? Yeah, switch is on. Hello, hello, hello. No, it's the red one. It's the red one on the left, on your far right. The red one. Hello, hello, hello.
Can you stand on the stage?
Huh?
Stand on the stage.
Stand on the stage.
We can't read the card way back in the back.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I was saying that Friedrich Schiller, well, I better bring this over too. Should I start from the beginning? Nobody heard anything?
Go ahead.
No.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, he wrote this poem which actually tells you what you're about to see from the standpoint of the moral concepts that he intends in this play. On William Tell by Friedrich Schiller. When raw power with rage breaks asunder, and blind fury fans lurid flames of war, when in battle furious parties thunder, the voice of justice can be heard no more. When every vice sets to shamelessly plunder, when bold caprice the holy throweth o'er, and loose the anchor which the state maintains, we find no subject there for joyous strains. But when a nation that its flocks still feeds with calm content, nor others' wealth desires, throws off the cruel yoke neath which it bleeds, yet e'en in wrath humanity still admires, and e'en in triumph moderation yet heeds. That is immortal, and to song inspires. That the joy to give you such a view is mine. Thou knowest it well, for all that is great is thine.